Hello.
Hey,
All right. So, hey, Mr. Wade, is Mr. Wade cool? I assume it's cool.
Toler-Wade.
Toler-Wade. I didn't know which one you preferred, if you preferred the whole thing. So, hey, Mr. Toler-Wade, thanks for making some time for the metal pit. So how have you been?
I've been well. Just been busy finishing up stuff on the album, and we're almost finished on this new single we're going to release, and
Really?
that should be pretty soon. So, pretty excited about that.
All right. Do we have any deets that we can spill or no?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Do we have any details that we can spill about it or no?
Not at the moment.
Oh man, you're gonna make us wait for it. All right, I'll be patient. I'll be patient. So, shall we get the show on the road?
Sure.
All right. So, we're taking it way back. Do you remember the first time someone stopped you and recognized you? Do you remember what was going on inside your head?
Um, that would have been quite a long time ago. I don't know exactly what was going on in my head. We probably ended up having a conversation about either music or music equipment or what are we doing next or something like that. And even before the Nile days, that was kind of happening already locally. But yeah, that's usually what ends up happening is you end up getting in a conversation about music or gear or stuff like that.
That doesn't sound bad to me at all. Did you feel like
Oh no, I
flattered?
could talk about that crap all day.
Fair enough, fair enough. That sounds about right. Why would you be in the business if you wouldn't want to talk about it all day, right?
That would be difficult.
Very true. So, this one's a little bit of a fun one. So, in a universe where the senses of taste and hearing are all mixed up, what would you think Narcotic Wasteland's music tastes like?
Hmm. Interesting. So if we were in a world that was our senses were all messed up,
Mm,
I don't know. It will probably taste like some kind of toxic green ooze.
that's what I was thinking. I was thinking like specifically a green like warhead.
Yeah, that would probably work.
Hey, I mean, whenever I saw you guys when you were out with Accept, that's probably what I get. Some sort of like a sour candy or something like that. Sweet and
Oh
sour.
yes, or like that little sticker that they would always put on poisonous, things. It's got the little face on there
Yeah.
going, yeah.
Yes. Yes. That's exactly
Yeah.
it. All right. I like that one. So this one's a little bit upsetting, but we're gonna go through it anyway. Has like being in the music industry like something like just you're going on a downhill road or something like that has happened. Has the thought ever come across your head of just like dipping out of the music industry?
Yeah, I think that happens to just about everybody. It's not just me; it's
Hmm.
probably most musicians, despite the success.
Right.
Whatever success level you may be on or trying to achieve, everybody gets burned out.
Hmm.
And the best thing to do is just take a break. Uh, Make sure you're getting some adequate rest, because a lot of times when we start booing on things in life, it's because we haven't slept very well for a while or something like that, or
I
we're
like that.
hungry.
We're just hungry.
um, you know I think one of the things that's kept me going through all the stuff is the fact that my intentions, music for me is definitely first and foremost a passion. So uh, what I see as success might not be what other people or other musicians see as success. And there's no
Hmm.
right or wrong answer. But for
Right.
me personally, it's more about the musical achievements. And
Absolutely.
the musical achievements are important to me, and all the other stuff about the fame and the fortune and the money was just never important to me. So
That's a good outlook to have on that kind of stuff. Because if you're just in it for the money, well, then once you get to that point, what do you do? Like, there's nowhere else to go. So if you're in it for like the musical instruments, there's always somewhere to go with that. There's always more to learn. There's always more to just use on like tracks and stuff. It's just
Exactly.
endless, endless. So
Yeah, I mean, and I'm still a practicing musician. I still learn new stuff on the instrument. I'm always working on new ideas and stuff and keeping up on my chops. And it's a fun, enjoyable sort of hobby, and the
right.
fact that we actually get out to go do this, is, it's amazing. But it wasn't
Right.
anything I ever expected. I'll take it.
Hey, right. Is it what you wanted to do whenever you were little? Where you're like, I want to be a rock star.
I definitely wanted to play music and play in bands. I've been playing with other people since I was probably about 10 years old.
Really? Wow. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's like
I
giving you
started
a
on the drums actually. So, my dad, he was a bass player and he was a blues guy. So he would sneak me into a private club, feed me drinks at way too early of an age, and we'd play blues all night. And that's kind of how that's how I cut my teeth, so to speak. And that's kind of how I got my start. And then, of course, later on with my own band, playing guitar and all that stuff. But
Mhm.
yeah, I've been doing it a really long time, and it's, yeah, it's been pretty much my whole life.
So with that being said, like your dad just like sneaking you into like these, I'm assuming smallish venues. Do you prefer playing in small venues or do you prefer the bigger venues?
I like both. I like the smaller, intimate gathering. And then technically for the sound as well, I always felt that faster music sounds better in a smaller place.
Hmm.
If you're in a really big, echoey kind of place and you're playing extremely fast, it just turns into a wash.
Just mush.
Yeah, it just gets, there's some really big venues out there that have great sound treatment and great sound
Right.
equipment. Now,
Mhm.
those kick ass, but pretty much anywhere, um, small punk bars or whatever kind of dive bars or larger venues. I mean, I enjoy all of them for various reasons.
Mhm.
It's cool to have the big pro set, but then it's also cool to, if you have to get MacGyver on a day every now and then and you have to figure some shit out, that does happen. And it happens on multiple levels. It's always a new challenge. Every day is different. You're playing in a completely different place, completely different sound. You have to make it work.
Right. I mean, I feel like it'd get kind of boring if it were just the same every day. The same, like, same. I mean, I guess it would be nice because you know how it's going to work. But I mean, having something different every day is just different, those different like flavors, if you will. It's very nice, I would assume.
Yeah, different vibes for sure. I would say it would be cool in some instances to maybe just be a little bit bored. Maybe it not be so much different, but
Right.
but you just work with it, that you improvise.
Yes. I mean, perhaps the I don't know what the word is that I want. Improvisations? No. Improvisations. There's a word. Perhaps that it can lead to some pretty fun stuff on stage. Because if you're like, man, like this thing just isn't working how it usually does, well, but if I do this and I duct tape it here, it's working fine, but it makes a little bit of a ringing sound. And if it works, it works.
Yeah, usually it's as simple as, I can't really hear my guitar. I have what I call an oh shit button on my foot switch. It's like, oh, I can't hear my guitar. And I just hit this button. Oh, there it is.
Do you have to use that often?
No, but every now and then you'll get in a situation where you get up there to play the show, even if you sound checked, and for
Mhm.
some reason or another, it just doesn't sound. And that's usually because there's people in the room, so that just
Right.
completely changes the sound of the room.
Mhm.
And then a sudden my guitar is buried, and I just fixed the problem real quick with a little boost button.
Huh. What a
Like,
thing.
oh, there it is. Maybe a little too much, but
Found
I'll
it.
live with it.
All right. So if you, my sir, were to be an album, any album ever, what album would you be? Doesn't have to be your album, any album ever.
Album. Right. Yeah, I guess I'd just have to say Sanctuary, Refuge Denied.
All right. Gotta stick to the classics, huh?
Yeah, well, for me, that song has just been there since I was 14, and it's always blown my mind. I probably listened to it 1,000 times. We listened to it just a couple of nights ago, having a couple of wobble pops, and it's just a great freaking album. You know,
Right.
it's very heavy, very emotional, and just his voice, especially back then, was just utterly incredible.
Just
And
solid.
the is still very ahead of its time in a lot of ways, in my
Mhm.
opinion. And it's just one of the good old classics. I've been getting into a lot of old classics lately.
I
I'm
feel like,
becoming a classic.
I mean, but I feel like if it were to be released like now-ish, I feel like it would just absolutely explode. People would go ham over it more than they did when it first came out.
Yeah, that was an album and a band actually that kind of um, they kind of felt the grunge thing kind of move in, you know, and that's when
Mhm.
that got popular. That's right when those guys were starting to take off. So you might
Mhm.
be right about that. But and also in the fact, you know, a couple of the members, uh, you know, they moved on to a different band called Nevermore, and then they actually got pretty successful.
Yeah,
So you just never know. You know what I mean? Never know what's going to happen or how. There is never a rhyme or reason to it.
right. Feel
When
it's not
something
very
breaks through, you're like,
what?
why that? Why
But
that one? I was sure it was going to be this one, but it's never what you expect. And a lot of times it's a song that you don't like very much, or you feel, I won't say that, maybe you feel like it's not the best thing you've ever done, but
Mhm.
it'll be the one that everybody loves. That
Right.
happens way often.
I think that happened with like Guns N' Roses with I think Sweet Child of Mine or something like that. Like Slash had played that iconic riff, and I think like he played it as a joke or he hated playing it or something. I don't know. I could have just read it somewhere, and don't trust everything you read on the internet, but I think that was somewhere.
How? Why not? No, just joking.
Why
Um,
not? Why can't I trust
yeah,
everything?
yeah. Sometimes those things will happen, and or you know, it could just be us internally, and it's like, well, they like it, so I'm not going to like it, even
Yeah.
if I wrote it.
Hmm.
But you know, at the end of the day, if you did something that people really dig, then that's cool. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Kind of
Does
helps
that
you
happen with your music?
reevaluate. No, you're fine.
Does it happen with your music a lot?
Yeah, actually, it does every now and then. There was a song that was on the Delirium Tremens record that I liked the song, but I didn't feel like it was really our strongest one. And you know,
Mhm.
the guys at the band, they were like, "We need to play this song." I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, we can work it up," and we worked it up. And it's just people are actually asking for it at the shows, and it gets a mad pit going. So I was like,
Wow.
"All right." And now
All
actually,
right.
and now you know, I get it. I understand. And I think maybe I just felt like it wasn't as strong because I think that was the first song I wrote for that album. And that was coming from the debut. So that
Mhm.
that song could have very easily fit on the debut and no one would have lifted an eyebrow.
Mhm.
Um, and it just turned out to be one of those mosh time hits, you know, where everybody's like slamming into each other and got the circle pit going. And that's just about every time we play that song. So
Wow. Now, is that a staple now?
yeah, it's on the list indefinitely.
Definitely. All right. Hey, I mean, that's good. Even if you're like, man, this isn't the best thing for this album, but I'm still proud of it. And then people are like, yes, let's go.
Yeah.
So speaking of albums and such, your album designs, well, I mean, the bands, like specifically like Narcotic Wasteland's album designs are so intricate, I guess, intricate and just like detailed. Which one is your favorite?
Out of the first two,
Hmm.
I would definitely say Delirious Tremens. And that's just basically because I feel like we had started to really hone the sound a little better, and the ideas were just a
Hmm.
little bit more focused. And but I'm proud of the debut. It's definitely the garage band version of us, and everybody needs to do that. You know,
Right, of course.
they both reek of some punk rock in there too. It's tight, but it's not like computer tight. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Hmm.
It's still a little rough around the edges, and I like to keep it that way. I think it's
Of
you
course.
you it. A lot of people tend to maybe lose a little too much of that organic thing, and
Hmm.
we just like I said, I want it tight and solid as I can get it, but I'm not gonna sit there and you know quantize and loop record and all the other stuff. I'm going to practice my ass off like I always do on all the material and go in and nail it.
Darn tootin'. All right. So, is
Yeah.
that your favorite of the Narcotic Wasteland albums? Like, not design wise, music like wise. Is it because you
Yeah,
started to
just
hone in on the
overall.
sound?
Yeah, it overall it's just a better album in my opinion. Now, once
Hmm.
we finally get this, everything's written for the new album. So, but I feel that the new one is I'm really happy with the singles that we put out. I definitely hear the growth in the band, and I think this new record is going to blow the doors off the last record.
Good. Are you going to tour for this album as well?
Yes. Yep. We're actually currently getting things ready for August. We had some things going on in June. I have to check back on that because one of them didn't work
Um,
apparently. But
that's
yeah, so that's all in the works. Some Canadian dates are in the works. Of course, we're trying to get down to South America and across over to Europe. That's all. It's all in the works. And in the meantime, I'm just gonna first quarter of this year, I'm going to get this album wrapped up and get it ready.
all right. You're just amping it up, and I'm just so excited for it now. Oh my gosh, I got to put it on my calendar
Cool.
now.
Yeah. We're pretty excited too. Oh,
Okay.
sounds like dinner's ready.
Okay. Well, I only got a couple more, and then I'll let you go.
Oh
So,
no, you're good.
so with like the new album coming out, how would you describe the band in like 3 words to someone that's never heard the band before?
um, Absolute metal chaos, maybe.
I love that, especially with that pit going in the background. Yes, that's perfect.
Yeah, it's gonna be what you'd expect from us. There's gonna be a few surprises too, but if
Of
you're
course.
into the band, you'll probably already know what you're gonna get. But
Hmm.
yeah, I'm really excited about it. It's definitely even the singles that we put out so far. It's definitely the best stuff that I've ever done. I feel that way, anyways. But like I said, once the album comes out, somebody will be like, "No, this other track's better." Yeah, and I'm fine with that.
Hey, that's fine. Everybody, at least they think that that track's good. I mean, at least they listen to it, right?
Yeah. Hey,
All
whatever
right.
blows your dress up, right?
I've never heard that before. I like that. All right. Whatever
Well, I can't
blows your.
the brilliance for it. It was actually something that when I was working with producer Neil Kernan, that was something that he would say every now and then. He's kind of an English guy. So he'd be like, "Yeah, whatever blows your dress up."
I'm gonna start using that now. I like that.
Yeah.
The old people I work with probably won't like that, but whatever. They don't like the music I play either, so it's fine. They'll get over it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, okay, it's a bakery, So they just come in for baked goods and then they're ready to go, ready for like a nice soft like no. You come in, you're listening to metal in my bakery.
Hell yeah, heavy metal bakery.
Heavy metal bakery. Yes. The owner's cool with this, so we're good. Okay. Anyway, enough about the bakery. So, if you were to pick one song from any of the songs that you've released, or yeah, any of the songs that you've released under any band, whatever, to be played on every radio station all over the world, what song would it be and why?
Wow, that's a tough one because there's quite a few that I think would, you know, maybe cross some boundaries.
That's
But I
good.
think I would have to say it was one of our last singles. I would have to say The Best Times Have Passed.
Oh,
I think that's a song that would go well in that format. It's heavy, but it's not unobtainable because, you know what I mean?
yeah.
It's catchy. It's a simple song, but it's a very heavy song. So I think a lot of people would just relate to it.
I mean,
And I think that would be the one.
it shows who you guys are, and it's like kind of dialed back enough for radio play. I think that would be good. That would be good.
Yeah, it's not super fast, but it's still kind of dirgy and doomy and heavy.
Yeah, and if people are interested enough, like they hear it on the radio, they're like, "Man, I gotta look this band up better." And they look it up, and they're like, "Man, they get better. They get better, heavier."
That's
Okay,
right.
so with all of that going on, all that good stuff, you're on all of these successes. You can see the growth in the band. If you, probably in this moment in time, could trade places with any musician in the world, probably alive or dead, that'd probably be a good one. Who would it be and what time? In what time of their life would you go?
Hmm. Probably Richie Blackmore in the 70s.
Okay. Hey, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I feel,
Rainbow era,
yes.
long live rock and roll.
Yeah. For some reason, I was expecting like John Lennon in 1967. No,
No.
that's more of a Philip Schaus answer. No. You said, okay, one more, and it's dinner time. So
Okay.
you said the album's coming, tour's coming. What's next? Like first thing whenever you hit the pages, get the paperwork. What's next?
Well, I think it's just trying to keep that going, and one of the things that I always try to do is even if we're like in album mode or not, I just continue to write stuff. It
Okay.
either just comes to you naturally and you just record it and you worry about it later, or you dive in and say, all right, it's time to really get to work because I've got some things here that I want to work on. But yeah, that's the goal, is just to continue to do that as much as possible. Keep putting out music and play as many shows as possible. I mean, I think that's like the main goal for a lot of bands and musicians, kind of what we're here to do.
Yeah. Keep on keeping on, right?
That's right. Hold it to the floor, put your foot through the firewall, all that stuff.
Pedal to the metal all day, every day.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll let you get to dinner. So thank you very much for taking the time to sit down and get to some chit chatting with the metal pit. I really appreciate it. I really do. I hope I had some questions you haven't heard before. And I hope some of those tour
Oh
dates,
yeah, this is great. Thank you.
yeah. And I hope some of those tour dates, those upcoming tour dates are close to Ohio-ish, because I will run. I won't walk, I will run to those shows. And then is there anything else?
Awesome.
Yeah. Was there anything else you wanted to add for the readers of the Metal Pit, or the viewers, I guess?
Well, I would just say, thanks for all the support all the years, and not just me, but just metal in general. I appreciate, everybody that has helped, metal stay strong after all the decades, since it's pretty much its supposed inception. Um, who knows exactly when that was? People
Right.
argue about that all the time, but just thank you. Um, thanks so much for that. And I'm the same way. I'm ready for some concerts myself. Some that I'm not even playing.
That's all right. We're allowed to go to shows. That's all right. All right. So
Oh yeah, I love it. It's the only time you can get me out.
I feel that I literally have a show right after this.
That's awesome.
All right. So I'll let you get to your dinner. I said that 3 times. Third time's a charm. Okay. Thank you very, very much. Have a good one.
Thank you. You too. Enjoy your evening. Have a good one. And yeah, I got you on the Facha Book Messenger, so I'll let you know when we're in Ohio.
All right. Have a good one.
You too.